Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the REDX podcast. So glad you're here. My name is Andrew, and I am here with one of my favorite guests. He's been on, what, 3 or 4 times now, Ricardo?
I think so. Thanks for putting up with me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. We love having you on. For those of you who got our email earlier this week, we were planning on another guest. He had some family emergency. We had to switch up, but thankfully, Ricardo was here, always here for us as an excellent lifeline. So we pulled some strings, pulled some favors, and Ricardo was happy to jump on with us. He's a marketing master. He knows so much about real estate, so much about follow-up, and that's what we are going to be talking about today. We are going to be talking about the importance of automation and leveraging automation to stay top of mind in your marketing game, to make sure that no lead, whether that lead is in your sphere, in your CRM, and wherever they may be, that they don't get left behind, right? Because automation really is only as effective as how you leverage it in your business. Is that accurate, Ricardo?
So 100%.
And let's kind of set aside, this doesn't mean being impersonal. This doesn't mean, a lot of the things that agents struggle with, or a lot of things agents get caught up on. It's about, just how you can think about follow-up, how you can automate follow-up, and the different stages of the buying journey to help that database. So Ricardo's got an excellent presentation ready for us. We're going to jump into that in just a couple minutes. Before that, I just want to give a shout out to our live audience. Let us know where you're from. Let us know that you're watching. We've got Sylvie, we've got Roy, Amanda. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for chatting in. Whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, on our website, hello, welcome, and let us know where you're from. As always, if you need to catch a replay of this episode, you can do that in multiple places: YouTube, Facebook, all the stuff I just said, as well as we publish an audio-only version at the end of every episode. So if you want to listen to it again, watch it again, Ricardo does have a presentation ready for us, so this is probably one that you will want to watch. So take note of that, everyone. And yeah, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Ricardo, how you doing, man?
Good, man. How are you?
Fantastic. Again, we're so excited to have you here.
I'm all pumped to be here too.
Love it.
Maybe it's the Red Bull talking.
It might be the Red Bull talking. Cheers to that.
Awesome.
Yeah, let's go ahead. And do you want me to pull up your slides, or do you?
No, let's go ahead and pull that up. It's not too many slides, so it won't be a whole big formal presentation. But when we started talking about this, the thing that we talked about, and the thing that I always try to remind agents, is growth in real estate is growth always lags in real estate. It's the activities you do now, the marketing activities that you remember to do now, the marketing activities, the phone calls that you make today, the prospecting calls, the follow-up calls, like all of those things.
Short-term lead generation, right?
Yeah. All of those things are like planting seeds.
Mm-hmm.
You're planting those seeds so that this harvest blooms 60 to 90 days from now. The challenge is when you're busy managing escrows, like, let's admit this market is freaking weird, insane. It's hard. It sucks because one of my agents has so many deals, and he goes, Ricardo, I don't know what to do. I just showed this house. It's been on the market for 24 hours. I have 18 offers that I have to present to my client.
18 offers for 24 hours.
That's just insane, right?
Yeah.
And that's not unheard of. At least the agents I talk to, that's not unheard of.
Sure.
So it's hard to say, hey, don't forget to do your prospecting. Don't forget to do your follow-up. Don't forget to do all of these little marketing activities that are planting the seeds so that you can reap a harvest. But just remember that what you do now while you're slammed is going to come to fruition and impact your summer, your fall, and your winter.
Right.
So the reason we talk about, the reason I stress marketing automation so much, in both my personal business, in any business, and especially in a realtor's business, is automation doesn't mean you're being impersonal. You don't have to do and touch everything.
Right.
One of the mantras that I always say that I learned from a friend of mine, he runs an escrow company. He always says, highest and best use of time. What are you doing so that you're leveraging yourself and you're only doing the activities that are the highest and best use of your time? Because you should be doing $1,000 an hour work, not $5 an hour work.
Right.
The $1,000 an hour work is negotiating those offers, negotiating those offers on behalf of your client.
Sure.
It's submitting an offer on behalf of your client and positioning it in such a way that it stands out and hopefully gets accepted. Like that's your highest and best use of time. And the reason I have this slide up, right now in your business, you're probably getting leads. You have a bunch of fishing lines in the water. At any given time, you should have 3, 4, 5 fishing lines in the water with different bait.
Right.
You're doing organic leads. You're doing paid leads. The question becomes, or the challenge becomes, what are you doing to alleviate some of that follow-up, some of that nurture? Because it's way too much information. It's all too much for you to handle all on your own. Right. So when I say marketing automation, marketing automation is all about using software. It's about leveraging maybe a VA to automate some of your marketing activities. That's all we're talking about. Using automation or having a VA to help leverage some of those marketing activities. So like I said, right now, you're probably generating leads, a combination of organic and paid leads. So here, I know you can see like a Facebook ad. We've talked about Facebook ads on the show.
Yes.
That's a great lead source for us. A lot of you probably have a Boomtown website, a Commissions Inc. website. You've run Google ads. You're getting Zillow Premier Lead ads. You've used, services like Bold Leads or OpCity, like you name it. My favorite connectivity and automation tool is Zapier.
Right.
So what I look to do, whether I'm running, my business as a marketer and a consultant, or we're talking about a real estate agent, what I try to look for and think about is what can I automate so that I don't have to keep doing that repetitive thing again and again and again. And I got an awesome example to share with you about that in a second. What can I delegate? So I have a virtual assistant. We can totally do a whole other episode on hiring and training your VA. But I have a virtual assistant. She's amazing. She helps me offload some of the things that are tedious so that I can operate and do the high leverage stuff. She takes the small, tedious, like repetitive tasks that I basically drew a line and what I did is I wrote down on a piece of paper every single little thing that I did on my snapshot of a day. And I put an asterisk next to the stuff that didn't require my voice or my unique talent. So it didn't require me being on the phone or my unique skill set. I put an asterisk next to it. And then everything else is stuff that I can delegate because it doesn't require my unique voice. It doesn't require my time or my skill set. So all of that stuff I can delegate. What I did is I created Loom videos to give her step-by-step instructions on how to do this thing, perform this task. And then I wrote down those step-by-step instructions on how to execute them. I basically created an SOP for almost every single little function in my business, which is awesome because now I can be on my way to an appointment and I say, hey, Stephanie, can you take care of this for me? Here's the attached SOP for it.
Right.
You can 100% do that in your business right now. If you get a new listing, you go out to a listing appointment, you land a new listing, that should trigger a whole checklist of tasks that need to get done. But guess what? A lot of those tasks are repetitive and monotonous, and they don't require you. You've already done the hard work of getting that listing. Right. You should move on to your prospecting activities and the next step and whatnot. So again, my favorite tool for that is Zapier. So my kind of default example is when we get a new lead off of our Facebook ads, I reformat the phone number so you can click to call, and I dump that lead into whatever CRM system you're using. In this particular example, it says LionDesk. It's just a screenshot, but you can swap that out with whatever system you're using. And then we create a new contact record. In this case, the broker's account they're using Infusionsoft.
Right.
But again, you're using Zapier to automate all of these different workflows so that you're not doing any of this work manually. So basically a new lead comes in, you're automatically dumping them into your CRM and they're automatically getting added to a drip campaign.
Right.
And so the thing that I would think about is, what are all of my lead sources? Once you know all of your lead sources, you can start to map out what are the different campaigns that I should be sending these different lead sources to make sure that I'm not dropping the ball on that sort of lead nurturing process.
Right.
And so the first thing that I try to think about or do is, sit down with an agent and talk about, the first thing I say is like, hey, I'm not going to sit down and pitch you on what tools or systems you should be using, because I recognize that real estate isn't one size fits all.
Sure.
And everyone uses a different tech stack and everyone runs their business a little bit differently. So let's take a look at your tech stack and see what we can automate to create a little more efficiency in your business. Like, that's step number one. The other thing that I kind of is a little surprising to me, and we could talk about this in a second, maybe after I show my example, is you should have a database.
Right.
You should have a database. And the reason I think most people don't is because CRMs are hard.
Mm-hmm.
They're hard because they all have different features. They all speak a different language to effectively say the same thing. And you're trying to get an agent to undergo like a big lift to adopt a new way of working or operating.
Right.
But the thing that I would think about is, like, I forgot where I got this stat, but it said something, there was like a research study, and it said that for every 500 contacts that you have in your phone or your database, there's at least 25 transactions in there. 25 opportunities that you're otherwise missing out on because you're not nurturing them in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
So I think we've talked about like building your sphere of influence before, or in one of our other episodes. Like, I shared an app, it's called MC Backup. You can use MC Backup to download the contact records from your phone and upload them to whatever CRM system you're using. So I would do that like as just first and foremost. Sure. And then also collect that master spreadsheet and start to organize all of your other, if you're getting data from data providers or whatever other leads you have from your different lead sources, like organize that all into like a database spreadsheet. And then the most important column to me is your tags column. Make sure that you have a column labeled tags, and then start to add tags for what each one of those rows represents. Is this a sphere of influence? Is this a referral? Is this a past client? Is this a seller prospect? Is this a specific farm area? Mm-hmm. Is this an open house lead, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Like, once you have all that dialed in, then you can upload them to whatever system we're talking about and start to trigger, specific campaigns.
Right. So step one is organize, right?
100%.
Take all your database, all your leads. If you're working with REDX, you can take it. Let's say you have a group of hot leads, or you have a folder of, people you're ready to follow up with. You can do what Ricardo's saying and export those as a CSV or type them into a spreadsheet, organize them, maybe prioritize them. And then I love your point of tagging there, Ricardo, right? Because you want to be able to quickly and efficiently, whether you're sorting a column in a spreadsheet manually or whether you're importing it somewhere and having that tag apply once you put it in your CRM or in your other system, you need to know what your relationship is with that person and group them together so that you're well organized. I love it. Because Sylvie from Facebook asks, well, hey, I thought he was talking about a system that sends emails automatically according to dates you program. Yeah, Sylvie, that's exactly what we're kind of getting to and what we're building up to. But Ricardo's point is, first you got to organize. No matter how small your sphere is, how small your database is, it's always important to be organized, stay organized. And if you need to start from square one, this is a great way to do it.
So the awesome thing about MC Backup is it'll spit out the data in your phone as a CSV file.
Nice.
And you're going to have first name, last name, phone number for most of them. You're not going to have email address, and you're not going to have property address. That's fine. You can upload them to your CRM, and in your CRM, you can do a mass text, basically a text strip that says, hey, Andrew, I'm giving some of my clients an updated home value. Normally, I only give this to people if they're thinking of selling their home. But in this market, I thought it may be nice to have it even if you're not. Do you want me to send you an updated home value as well? Question mark.
Nice.
Field your responses. For the ones that some people say, no, stop, no thanks. For the ones that say, yeah, sure, why not? Then you just reply back. Great. Yeah. What's your email address and what's your updated address? So now you went from, I only have name and phone number, Ricardo, what do I do? To, Guess what? You just captured some email addresses and property addresses.
Right.
Now you get to work.
And I love that that's kind of that combination of, I mean, a lot of agents are, to your point, worried about being impersonal, worried about doing these automated campaigns and sounding like a robot, or sounding like the example we heard a couple weeks ago was, I got a text. They were addressing my ex-husband because my name was still attached to the property that my ex-husband lives at. Nothing is less personal than that. So if you know that at least the name and phone number are correct, you can then start that drip, as long as your message is crafted to be personal enough, and then proceed to reply in person, right? Because some of these replies don't sound like they're automated. The replies are, okay, you just warmed up as a lead. I'm going to give you extra attention and kind of my personal touch, right?
That's right. That's right.
Love it.
So then the other thing here is, if you don't have a big database, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Right. Guess what? If you want to do prospecting, there's this really great company called REDX that gives you access to data so that you can do your prospecting, depending on what type of or what segment of the market you want to go after. Like, I think one of the things that I said is, if you're not sure who to target, right now is a great opportunity to target move-up buyers. Because guess what? People are crowded, living in their space. They're realizing, I work from home. My husband works from home. Honey, I think we need a bigger place. So target your move-up buyers. Also target your downsizers. People that have been there, lived there for 20 plus years and have over 80% equity, right? You know, what's your messaging that you can kind of address to them? And then cold call your expired listings. Don't just do your recently expired listings. Go back, 6 months, 12 months to a year.
Yes. Old expireds.
And you guys have like phenomenal scripts for facilitating and making all of that easy. So don't fret over having or feeling like you have a small database. Like, you have access to tools, just leverage those tools to the best of your ability.
Right.
If you're going after a specific prospecting farm, contact your title company and say, hey, I want to purchase premium data for this specific farm. And now, again, you just tag, you upload that to your spreadsheet and you tag that with whatever farm area that is, the name of the farm, Costa Mesa, and then seller prospect, right?
Right.
So now you're organized, and you can move on to the next. You can start to craft your different drip campaigns and messaging. Now, one of the examples that I wanted to showcase here, and I'm going to bring this up, I have this library of drip campaigns that I'll share with you all, so you can drop it into the show notes.
Nice.
So depending on where your leads are coming from, the thing you have to recognize is that people are at leads are always at different stages of the buying journey. Right. And that stage is also different depending on where that lead came from, what the lead source is. If you got a referral from somebody, they're further along in the buying or selling process. That lead is maybe 70 to 80% likely to close. All you have to do is follow up, because that's a warm, sort of trusted and high valued referral. Right. If you're getting a lead from Facebook versus Google. So Facebook, I consider interruption marketing. That person is very early entry, and we usually assign a timeline of 3 to 18 months before they make a purchasing decision. Anywhere from 3 to 18 months. So don't feel discouraged because you couldn't get them on the phone the first time and say, oh, this is a bad lead. No, they just require more follow-up attempts because they're very early entry. Right. So they might be opening your first 3 emails, but the type of responses we see are, hey, I got your email and your text message and your voicemail. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just at the office. So can you have somebody call me between 6 and 6:15?
Nice.
Or they get an automated email like 45 days later and they're like, hey, yes, I'm still interested. I've just been busy.
Sure.
Last year we generated about 8,000 leads for our agents. Of those 8,000 leads, 1,900 converted into requests for an appointment to either go preview a property or I need to sell in order to buy.
What is that? Over 10%?
I think so.
Yeah. Out of 18,000, about 1,900 of them. That's incredible.
Yeah. So the question becomes, like, these people are at different stages of the buying journey. You just got to follow up and put them on your nurture sequence. So these campaigns will help you do that, right? Depending on what lead source that is. The next step is really just looking at your system or your process, and starting to automate, the rest of it. So a really good example of this is I have a lender somewhere in the Inland Empire. So this guy's awesome. He's the lender, the go-to for a couple of builders. He knows that he's missing opportunities because what happens is he's doing everything manually. Everything in his business is manual. He goes, Ricardo, if I had more staff or just a better way to follow up on people, I'd probably be closing an additional, 20 or 30 deals a year. So what we did is we looked at the technology that he's using, and we went to Zapier and started automating all of his processes. So what happens is when somebody goes to one of the open houses, to an open house, any open house, we're using Open House Wizard. So they sign into the open house using Open House Wizard. A lot of you right now, you probably have a big sigh of relief feeling that restrictions are lifted and you can do open houses again.
Yes.
So you're probably using Spacio, or you're probably using Open Home Pro. You might have a paper sign-in sheet. Whatever you have, just log it all down. In this particular case, he's using Open House Wizard. So when somebody signs into Open House Wizard, we set up an automatic text notification that goes out to that lead, and it says, hey, Andrew, thanks for signing into one of our properties. Click here to instantly book an open house tour at your preferred date and time. And then that, remember, this coming through as a text message, it's sharing the Calendly link to instantly book an open house date and time. But what it's doing is it's not letting them go preview that open house without getting pre-qualified or cross-qualified first.
So you're kind of checking all the boxes that you need as an agent before they even show up on your doorstep or at your open house, right?
Correct.
You're getting all the information you need to make them a solid, qualified, hot lead before they even
100%.
I love
100%. Because now I'm not wasting time with somebody that's not qualified.
Right.
If they're not going to go through this process and sit down with me to get pre-qualified, pre-approved, or cross-qualified, then it's not a worthwhile lead to me.
Sure.
So we custom.
And let me put myself in the customer's shoes. Let me put myself in the customer's shoes here and say, and just ask you, Ricardo, how long does it take these leads to fill all this out, right? Because I think even 3 minutes of clicking, filling out, giving you my email multiple times can be a deterrent for some people. For the serious home buyers, maybe not. But, is this a pretty convenient process for the people signing up for these open houses and getting on your lists?
So I'll let the next screen tell you whether that's way too much information. What I found, and what I forget if it was NAR or Zillow's latest profile of buyers and sellers. Jesse Bowden from Call Action has a lot of great data. So he probably has some of these stats, or maybe I got it from Call Action, but 43% of buyers, after they find a property online, they drive directly to the listing.
Oh, wow.
They drive directly to the listing because they want to see it. Yeah. They want to be in the community and see how close this is in proximity to what we want.
Sure.
They call the number on the yard sign, and what happens? Usually it goes to voicemail. Spam, or I'm busy, or a million other things. But guess what? Those people are instant gratification creatures. They want an answer. They want to schedule a showing right now.
Right.
So that text message that says, thanks for signing into one of our products, click here to instantly book an open house tour at your preferred date and time, sends them to that Calendly link where we say, open house tour every day. Please select the next available date and time after today. No same day appointments without approval from an agent. If you want a same day appointment, call this number. When they fill out that time to see what's next, we're getting first name, last name, email address. Do you want to add a guest? What's the best number to reach you? What's the name of the property that you like to tour? And then send text messages to, what's your number, I guess.
Right.
So this runs on autopilot. It's evergreen. Right. For this week alone, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 appointments.
Okay, so putting myself back in their shoes, to your point of instant gratification, how good is instant gratification if you know nothing comes of it, or if you can't talk to an agent or you can't speak to the representative who's going to help put you in that home? This seems like a better alternative. Not a terribly long form, right? I think we could I think we could fill that out in under a minute, and then you've got your set dedicated time to talk to an expert, which is the agent. I love it. Perfect.
You're giving them what they want. You're providing that sort of assurance that, you know, we're going to move you on to the next step. We're going to get you in here as soon as possible.
Very nice. And it seems effective. Just looking at your calendar here, it seems super effective.
26 appointments in 1 week. These people will, for the most part, are going to sit down, get pre-approved, and hopefully make an offer on a property.
Love it.
The other Zap that we got going, this one is probably unnecessary. We had to do it through Zapier because for whatever reason, natively, Calendly wasn't playing well with the integrations. But anytime somebody fills out the form in Calendly, we create that calendar invite. And then this is the complicated one. So they're using Arrive. This is a lender. They're using Arrive as their LOS. It's how they manage their loan applications. So new loan it gives you different statuses. New loan application submitted. Here's the client and loan number. Loan application approved. Loan application, you know, waiting on docs. Loan application, whatever. There's like 5 or 6 different statuses.
Right.
What's brutal about Arrive is that it sends you an email notification letting you know that the loan status has changed. But then everything from there is manual. So this lender has to manually look up the agent in his CRM and update the tag and start a new drip campaign, depending on where the loan status is. So it's like, hey, you submitted a loan application, but I'm still waiting on documents. He manually has to go through, check for that record, and you know, notify the client. Because Arrive doesn't have a Zapier integration. So what we did is we went to Zapier and we created an email parser. So we said, hey, look for these different taglines: loan status updated or loan status approved, loan status, whatever. We're filtering loan status. And then we're running a little bit of JavaScript to match the data in a Google spreadsheet. And then from here, we'll take all of this information and automatically update the tag and record and whatever CRM system they're using, and then trigger the new drip campaign, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
So kind of a good workaround there for
great workaround. So where he's wasting 30 minutes to an hour updating a client manually, now all of this is automated from the 26 appointments that are being scheduled on his calendar to a loan application getting created and Arrive, and everything just getting auto updated in his CRM.
Right.
The amount of hours that you save are just exponential.
Right. And I love this idea of saving time because to your point early on in the podcast, you know, you were saying what you can't, you know, what can I automate and what can I delegate? I think a lot of agents maybe don't have the time or resources to delegate, right? Especially newer agents may not be able to delegate, but they certainly can automate. So with a service like Zapier, with any of these tools that you've got integrated that you've shown as a great example there on your Zapier, it's you know, work smarter, not harder, right? If you can get the system to go ahead and automate a lot of that for you while still coming across as authentic, it will save you, maybe as a new agent, maybe as an agent who's trying to get back in the game, maybe as just the average agent who's trying really hustling to close more deals. I think that automation goes very far. And I just want to say, I assume, Ricardo, that these programs like Zapier, these programs that you're using, all these tools, we live in such an amazing day and age of technology that if anyone feels overwhelmed or confused at just the prospect of trying to get to learn these programs, they've got video tutorials. They've got walkthroughs. They've got amazing support staff that is always there to help you. And I think if you can dedicate, you know, maybe 10 hours now over the next few weeks to learn these programs, learn these automation systems, that will pay off in hundreds of hours of time saved in the future once you get everything set up.
Absolutely.
Love
It took me 3 full days, maybe 4, to
Okay.
record all the videos and do the written documentation. I have the advantage of
Mhm.
having written product documentation
Mm,
for most of my career in the industry.
right.
I wrote product tutorials and documentation. Like I've been doing this forever. So
Yeah.
and it's the OCD in me too. When I hired my assistant was, hey, I want to give her all the tools for success and leave no room for error. Not
Right.
because not because I wanted to what's the word I'm looking for? Not because I wanted to be like a vulture over her and make sure you're doing this right, but
Sure.
like, hey, I wanted to remove any friction.
Right.
So I documented everything. That took me a little bit of work up front, but I was already doing those tasks myself anyway.
Right.
So I
Right.
recorded them, I wrote them down on paper, and now I have so much confidence in sending a simple email and saying, "Hey, can you get this done for me? Let me know if you have any questions."
Sure.
And
That's awesome.
I know that it gets done.
And I think that's a great lesson to teach newer agents or agents who are developing these systems right now.
Micromanaging.
Jeremy, well, he's got some good thoughts, right? Like if you can put an ISA in charge of not the admin, but some of the dialing, some of the day-to-day prospecting, so you can go
100%.
focus on developing your admin system, right? It's well worth it. And it really helps to build that structure. Amazing thoughts there, Jeremy.
That goes back to the point of like, if you're generating leads from a bunch of different sources, your job shouldn't be chasing down leads. Your job should be going on that scheduled appointment, on that scheduled buyer's consult, or that scheduled listing consult. Have an ISA do the work of chasing down the leads and qualifying or unqualifying that prospect.
Right.
Or set up your automated drip campaigns to do that long-term nurture for you.
Sure. And going back to your point of you documented and wrote everything down for your first few years, that should be a huge takeaway that new agents can take from this podcast is whether you're learning from this podcast and you're getting resources from Ricardo, you're getting resources from other agents. I mean, you can just Google, what these scripts and what these automated campaigns might sound like, but document everything so that by the time you're ready to build, by the time you're ready to develop and enhance this and your business grows, you have everything in place and you have everything written down to run with. I love it.
Jeremy's getting me pumped up over here.
Here he goes. Yeah.
He goes, exactly. We call you close. That's right.
There it is. There it is. Delegate and leverage technology. Bingo, Jeremy. I love it.
Yeah. So going back to the campaigns. So like
Yes.
what campaigns should I have what campaign should I start with?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's always the big one. So for me, the way I think about it is open houses are a big lead source for you.
Yes.
So generally we have like a 7-day drip campaign for following up on leads that come by an open house.
Right.
So the first email is, thanks for stopping by 123 Main Street. Hey, Andrew, it's Ricardo. Just want to say thanks again for stopping by my listing at 123 Main Street. Really is a great home, but great for one person is not great for every person. So if you'd like me to send you a list of homes similar to 123 Main Street, just hit reply and let me know. I'm going to send you a text in case it's easier for you to call or text. Otherwise, talk soon.
And that's an automatic text.
That's all automated, right?
Because that sounded so personal. That sounded so personal and gave them options.
Right.
Kind of presented and was honest. It presented the reality of like, you may love this home. This home may be gone in a day. Let me help you find dozens that are similar.
Right. And then a few days later is still interested ? Hey, Andrew, I haven't heard from you in a couple days. Maybe 123 Main Street isn't the right home for you. Totally get it. So can you tell me a little bit more about your dream home? How many beds are you looking for? How many baths? Are you looking for a specific full feature like a big swimming pool for those big summer barbecues? I don't know if you know this, but as a local real estate professional, I have access to 100% of the listings that are listed on the MLS, including some off-market properties too. Look forward to hearing from you, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And then wait a couple days. The last email, we get a big response on the last email. It's kind of our last ditch email. It's not yet ? Hey, Andrew, I'll take your not responding as a sort of back off signal. I totally get it. Right now may not be the right time to buy for you, but whether you're thinking of buying in 2 months, 6 months, or 2 years, I just want you to know that my team and I are here to help. In fact, a lot of our happiest clients started out this way. Why don't you email me back your story and I'll talk to you soon. A lot of people open up about where they are in the process.
Perfect.
I'm like way too early entry. I want to wait till my kid's graduation, or we want to wait till we have some more money down for a deposit, or
which helps you build out your CRM with tags and timelines
100%,
and helps you basically structure your follow-up. The way that you do that is asking them about their life rather than coming at them with the hyper salesy, let me shove it down your throat approach, right?
100%.
Love it.
100%. And then it just becomes a game of, okay, do I have my long-term nurture campaigns in place? So one of the campaigns that I have in that drive is just a quarterly checking campaign. So 3 months after that lead, ran through its last campaign, it's, hey, Andrew, a while back you contacted me about buying a home, ... Wanted to check in and ask, are you still thinking of buying in Costa Mesa this year? ? In case you forgot who I am, here's a link to my Zillow agent profile. I really do pride myself on doing the best I can for my clients. Right? And then no response, no problem. 6 months later, we put them on another re-engagement campaign. And you're just, again, it's this automated process of not taking a no response as a no. It's I see it as it's not a no, it's just not right now.
It's not an objection, it's a condition.
There you go.
Right.
There you go. There you go.
Beautiful.
So I hope that's helpful.
Yeah.
Where do we want to go from here?
I mean, you tell me. So let's see. We've covered. Let me go through some of my notes here. We've covered some of the automation. We've covered why it's important. We've definitely dug into how to automate without being impersonal. I think that maybe we answer a few questions, give some final thoughts, and wrap up.
Yeah.
Here, Ricardo.
What I would say too is again, look at your tech stack. Look at all the tools that you're using. If you feel like all this stuff is overwhelming, Ricardo, can you help me? Like literally just send me an email and list out all the different tools you're using.
Right.
I'll reply back with what you can do to connect them. Like that's so easy for me. I do that all day, every day. But look at your tech stack and ask yourself, like, what can I automate? What can I delegate?
Yes.
If you're not at a point where like you can hire a VA and whatnot, that's totally fine. Sure. If you're making over $100,000 a year, you should have a VA, hands down. That's been the biggest game changer for me. My stress levels down, and I move faster on performing the higher value tasks that I need to get done in my day. So it's 100% a worthwhile investment that'll pay dividends in return. And we can do a whole episode on that. But literally, what can I automate? What can I delegate? And then what can I eliminate? Is this a task that I can just get rid of because either A, I don't like doing it, or I found a way to automate it, right? The lift that we've done in Martin's business that's 26 appointments with highly qualified prospects in 1 week.
Yeah.
Before that, he was at maybe 4. That's just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Like the amount of efficiency that exists in his business now, just by taking the tools he's already using and automating the heck out of him, is creating so much leverage. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And he's not using anything expensive. Calendly, he's on a single Calendly account. So he's not using a team account. We were initially using a team account. Now we just use one single agent account, and we created a shared calendar with his team. That's how we worked around it. And then yeah, just again, take inventory of what tools you're using and just find ways to leverage them and leverage yourself.
Beautiful. I love it. Well, let's answer just a couple questions real quick here, Ricardo. Then we'll let you go. That 40 minutes just flew by so fast.
Easy.
I love it. Yeah. So let's answer. Jeremy asks, he's wondering how we can integrate something like Follow Up Boss with REDX. I don't think there's a direct integration right now, Jeremy. I'll pass that along to the team. We'll talk about that. But what's great with the Vortex platform is any CSV you have. So use your filters, use your folders, And then any hot leads that you drop into specific folders, maybe they're the leads that are warmest, hottest, you want to follow up with the most, you can export any folder, any list of leads as a CSV, and then just upload that right into a platform like Follow Up Boss or any other CRM that you're looking for if there's not an existing direct integration. So hopefully that answers your question. We had a good question come in from our survey, and I think we already spoke to this a little bit, but Joanne asked, what kind of campaigns do I want? How many, and how do I separate my different niches when sending campaigns? We already spoke to some of the tags and stuff, but as far as the actual text, the actual messages, Ricardo, would you just recommend having a campaign set up for each one of those and upload different lists of leads for each campaign?
Yeah, I would definitely talk to different people. I would talk to different people differently, for sure.
Yes.
That's just hands down. You're going to talk to an SOI a lot differently than you might talk to, I don't know, somebody you go to your church group with.
Sure. Yeah.
So you're definitely going to talk to people a little bit differently. The one thing that I would do is, like, if it's SOI or your social group, like on Facebook, Instagram, like one of the campaigns that I got from someone a while back was, hey Andrew, hope you're doing well. The pandemic plus the election, they both impacted the real estate market. So I'm spending some time today creating custom CMAs for a few of my favorite people, just like you.
Mm.
This is a detailed multi-page report that'll show you what your home is worth and what the other homes near you have sold for. Normally, I only do these if someone's thinking of selling their homes, but I decided that getting a report like this would be valuable even if you're not. Do you want one for your home?
Right.
Like, it's just making it so non-aggressive, non-salesy.
Yes.
It's making it casual, and it's making it, hey, normally I only do this if somebody's got like a motivating reason, but I thought it'd be valuable to have it considering the market we're in.
Right.
I do think you should have different campaigns for different people. It's the language that you use in your campaigns that is kind of the differentiator.
Yeah.
You can come off, I don't know. I think you can finesse it.
Yeah, totally. And I know you kind of mentioned it earlier, but you're going to grant access to all of these scripts and some of these campaigns that you've used, right? So for everyone who is interested, in contacting Ricardo, where can they do that?
You can just go to ricardobueno.com. I have a sign-up form right on the homepage.
Wonderful.
I have a regular podcast that I publish. I interview top agents and teams here in my local market, Orange County, but also nationally.
Beautiful.
So,
and then for a link to that folder with those different resources, what we'll do at the end of this, everyone, remember this episode, come back to us on YouTube or on the redx.com/podcast. We'll have a page for Ricardo, and we will put a link to those resources there, or you can email him and he will send those as well. Right. So,
yep. 100%.
Beautiful. Well, Ricardo, this has been amazing. So much valuable information here packed in. I want to give you just, one last chance. Any last words, any final things that you want to say before we close here, or are we good?
I know some of this stuff can be overwhelming. So take a step back, breathe. You got this.
Yeah.
If you need help, I'm just an email away. Honestly, I geek out on this stuff. I love this stuff. Andrew can attest to that.
Yes.
No question is too big or too small. Feel free to drop me an email anytime. I'm more than happy to help.
I love it. Thank you so much, Ricardo. And for everyone who is interested in some of these past episodes he mentioned, this is, I think, our 4th episode we've done of the REDX podcast with Ricardo. So go check out the previous ones. They're all on YouTube. They're all on our website. If you just go to our page, like and subscribe for future episodes, and then you can search our page for the other episodes with Ricardo. There's a great one on Facebook targeting. There's a great one on some of these scripts we're talking about. Similar stuff with the automation. Always amazing content. Always amazing information here. Ricardo, thank you so much. The audience loves it here too. Thank you, Jeremy, for chiming in. You've been great. For anyone,
Sylvie, Jeremy, you guys are great. Thank you.
Yeah. So for anyone who joined this episode late and wants to get a recap, you can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you like to listen. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Find us on Facebook. We do these podcasts every Thursday at 12:30 Pacific, 3:30 Eastern time. So please join us next week. And until then, we will see you all later. Thanks, Ricardo.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
See ya.